Part 1 The 90s.
It's the first episode of my TikTok stories about the 90s. I'm gonna start it off with number one with where I used to live in the 90s. All right, so I'm gonna tell you in these whole part one, part two, from the street life, times I got busted, times growing up, just street stuff, fun times, good times, hood times, whatever. But part one is gonna be about where I live, so you can know exactly where I live and how I became who I became. So part one, homies. I grew up in the SGV, San Gabriel Valley. Some call it Shotgun Valley, Sul Gangster Valley, Valleros. You already know what it is. LA County, Los Angeles County on the east side. And I grew up in a city called La Puente, West Covina. City industry was the address. Technically, Valinda too. Technically, the address is La Puente, but if you get the address, we used to get the mail in Valinda. And if you guys are from the area, you will know what I'm talking about. City of Industry, Valinda, La Puente, all of that. And that's where I grew up as my early stage. I grew up around maybe 95% Hispanics. So that city, if you do the demographic check on it, I don't know what it is right now, but I would say it's like 95% Hispanic. Maybe now it's 90%. And the rest mostly was Asians, the rest. 10% Asians, 5% Asians. Very minimum white, very minimum black, at least in the 90s. Maybe altogether 1% of that. Now, demographics maybe changed, but I'm pretty sure Hispanics are still 90%. So that definitely took a turn in my life because that's who I grew up with, and that's what influenced me in a lot of ways. And the second city I moved to in the 90s, growing up, was the Inland Empire. So getting in troubles in the SGV, I moved out to the Inland Empire. There was a new city called Moreno. Some people call it Murder Val, a city of murder, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people, it's a city that a lot of people from LA, SGV, Compton, everywhere moved out to. You know, there was a few cities out here in Southern California, if you were from the 90s, 2000, they moved out to Fontana, technically Murder Valley, Victorville, Palmdale, different cities like that, you know what I'm saying? And the side we're from in the SGV, a lot of people moved out to the Inland Empire. And I went to a city called Moreno Valles, you know, and then that's when it all started, even got more crazier because I was representing LA, and obviously in that area there was people from the Inland Empire. There was two communities clashing at one time, but there were some good times. Something different that I learned over there compared to where I grew up at. Now the percentage of Hispanics might have been only 50% there, but then there was 25% blacks. There was 20% mixed. It was just a mixed melting pot of different people. So growing up in the SGV, I was more accustomed to the Hispanic crowd, but moving to the Murder Valley, Murder Val,